it's hard to talk about yourself, even if yourself is the thing that you feel the most knowledgeable about. But for the next 5 minutes, I'll attempt to do the impossible and talk about myself. I'd like to start with a brief overview of my past, including my college experience and my experience in agriculture, as well as my present, which includes taking prerequisite courses in order to apply for veterinary school, as well as shadowing in a local veterinary clinic. That brings me to my future, in which I'd like to become a veterinarian. To go more in detail about my past, I'd like to start with my college experience at Baylor University. I spent the last 4 years there as a medical humanities major and an honor student. That was important to me because the major medical humanities focused on the ethics of the doctor-patient relationship and the intricacies that were woven throughout that. There truly is nothing like a doctor-patient relationship. And I took classes on philosophy and logic, studying that very thing in order to prepare me for the next step, which was medical school. And that brings me to my lifetime entanglement with agriculture. I grew up spending time on my family's ranch, learning about agriculture and cattle raising and showing livestock. I was very lucky to have shown multiple national champions in the Brayford breed division. Ultimately, it was that experience in agriculture that led me to connect my college degree with my future and ultimately change paths from pre-medical studies to pre-veterinary studies. Which brings me to my present. Currently, I'm taking multiple prerequisite courses, including this one, in order to satisfy requirements to apply to veterinary school. Concurrently, I'm also shadowing at a local veterinary clinic and gaining experience on animal science knowledge and the knowledge on how to treat different cases of sick animals. Perhaps most interestingly, I learned that fundamentally, the animal science or the veterinary clinic is a business. And as a future veterinarian, I'll have to make business-oriented decisions as well as veterinary decisions. And that brings me to my future, in which I talk about how I'd like to become a veterinarian. That includes applying to veterinary school, attending veterinary school, but the most important thing I'd like to focus on is the type of veterinarian I'd like to be in the future. Throughout my experiences, I've learned that even though I've strayed from pre-medical sciences to pre-veterinary sciences, I find that there is such a strong connection between the two, that human medicine and animal medicine are intertwined. When you see a healthy pet, chances are the person holding the leash is healthy as well. Animals bring such a stable source of mental health to their owners, and the love that humans can have for animals is so inspiring and so strong that really inspired me not only to have a strong connection with animals just in my life in general, but also to dedicate my life towards the science itself and become a veterinarian. I can see myself being a leader in the community and providing education on animal health and betterment of mental health with animals. And I also find that even though I spent my entire four years in college studying essentially for a different career path, I found that my major in medical humanities was still preparing me for being a good veterinarian. Studying ethics of the doctor-patient relationship and logic and philosophy of that made me realize that doctor-patient relationship is not solely assigned to human medicine. Patients can also be animals. And so everything I learned in those 4 years still applies, and still applies to how sacred that the doctor-patient relationship is, and how a veterinarian can still apply those skills. So I hope that in the future, I'll be able to apply veterinary knowledge along with business-oriented knowledge, along with knowledge from my prerequisite courses that I'm taking concurrently, as well as an extra dimension added of medical humanities that still coincides with veterinary sciences. Overall, the path has been long and winding, from a pre-med student to taking prerequisite courses to apply to vet school to wanting to become a veterinarian. but I'd like to leave you with this. No matter how uncertain you are about your future or where you are, it's always important to trust that you'll find the right path.